So Cn raised to 1 always gives you the identity element. So this is regarding the C3 rotational axis of symmetry. Let us go with another example of C3 type. That is, we take the example of BX3, boron trihalide example. The structure of this particular molecule is trigonal planar. Trigonal planar. That is, boron is attached to the 3 halogen X groups, right, which are separated by an angle of 120 degrees. Now here in this case, the axis is passing from the center of the boron. That is the position of my pen. For the position of pen, that along that particular, the axis is passing along this pen, right? So that is, the axis is passing from the center of this boron. From this, the center of this boron, from the board plane, from this side to the other side. And rotation is done along this particular axis. That is, rotation is done along the boron atom. The structure looks something like this. This is the structure of BX3. Boron in the center, 3 X halogen atoms on the 3 positions separated by 120 degrees. Now rotation, the axis is passing from the center of the boron atom. The axis is passing from the center of, in the center we have the boron atom. The axis is passing from the center of boron. And you are going to rotate along this particular axis to 120 degrees. Now you can see, initially green. This is the X, green, right? Now on rotation of 120 degrees, you can see that you get the equivalent structure. The first and the second structure are equivalent. The first and second structure are equivalent, but the position of the X has changed. X from this axis position has gone to this position, and this has changed its position. Similarly, blue also has changed its position. So here, this is the rotation. You are going to repeat it continuously in order to obtain the equivalent structure. So here I am labeling them as HA, XA, XB, XC. And rotation along this, that is 120 degrees. XA comes here, XB here, and the XC here. Further 120 degrees. Again the axis is again passing from the center of the boron. Therefore I am representing like this. This means that the axis is passing from the center of the boron atom. XA, XB, XC. Further again rotation into 120 degrees. XA, XB, XC. You can see again we got the initial structure. That is the first structure you have obtained. Now here the angle of rotation is 120. Therefore N is equal to 360 by 120. That is equal to 3. Therefore we say that it has C3 rotational axis of symmetry. In the first when you do it for the first time, it is called C31. When it is done second time, it is called C32. And the third time it is called as C33, which will always give you what? E, that is identity. So therefore this particular molecule, that is BX3 molecule, has C3 rotational axis of symmetry. One more thing regarding this, that is this particular molecule, right, on rotation to 120 degrees giving you C3 rotational axis of symmetry, right? This molecule also has another rotational axis of symmetry. Not only the C3 but also one more additional, that is rotational axis of symmetry, is also present, and that is C2. How this C2 is present? Now take this BX3 molecule. This is a BX3 molecule. Initially in the C3 axis, the axis is passing from the center of the boron atom, and a rotation to 120 degrees, you got the equivalent structure. Here in this case, the C2 rotational axis of symmetry is obtained when the axis is passing from the X and boron atom. X, this is the X atom, this is the X, and this is the X. The axis is passing from the center of this X and the center of the boron atom, and you are going to rotate along this axis. That is, you got the structure. That is, on rotation, the position of these two hydrogens will be changing. The position of these boron and the X atoms doesn't change because they are along the axis. Their center of gravity should not change. Therefore, they remains constant along this axis. The position of these two hydrogens will X atoms will be changing. That is, I am rotating along this axis. That is 180 degrees. Therefore, you can see the change in the position. Therefore, the axis is along this particular boron and the X, and rotation to 180 degrees will give you equivalent structure. Therefore, we say that BX3 molecule in addition to C3 will also have C2 rotational axis of symmetry. See, the axis is passing from the X and the boron, and I am rotating along this axis to 180 degrees. The position of atoms, the label is 1, A, B and C. Since the axis is passing X, C and B, the position of X, C and B remains constant because the axis along these two atoms therefore remains the constant. The position of XA and XB changes. Now if you look at these two structures, these are equivalent structures. Right. If I remove these labels, you can see that both the structures are the alike. So here these two are the equivalent structures. Looks alike, but there is a difference. That is, initially XA was somewhere here, XB was somewhere here. But on rotation along this axis, XA has come here and XB has come here. Therefore, the position of atoms has changed. Therefore, we call them as equivalent structures. So here it is obtained by rotation to 180 degrees. Therefore, N is equal to again 360 by 180. It is equal to 2. Therefore, we say that it also has C2 rotational axis of symmetry. For the first time you are doing it, therefore we call C21. Again, this is repeated to 180 degrees. It is called CT2. Now again, rotation along this axis. The position of AB again changes, XA and XB. Now if you look at these two are identical structures. Now this identical structure is obtained by rotating it for the two times, C21, C22. As I already told you, Cn raised to the power of n is equal to identity. Here also C2 raised to the power of 2 is always equal to what? Identity. So in case of BX3 molecule, you have C3 rotational axis of symmetry and also the C2 rotational axis of symmetry. So in case of BX3, C2 is present in addition to C3. So this is regarding the rotational axis of symmetry of the BX3 molecule. Here I would like to mention one thing, that is, if a molecule has more than one rotational axis of symmetry, which has to be given more priority and which has to be given the less priority. I mean, which becomes principal rotational axis of symmetry and which becomes secondary rotational axis of symmetry. See, whenever a molecule has more than one type of rotational axis of symmetry, the rotational axis of symmetry with highest n-fold value, the rotational axis of symmetry with highest n-fold value will become principal rotational axis of symmetry, and the rest of them becomes a secondary rotational axis of symmetry. Just elaborate this one. Now if you take the BX3 molecule itself, in BX3 molecule it has C3 and C2. Now here in this molecule there are more than one type of rotational axis of symmetry. If a molecule has more than one type of rotational axis of symmetry, among these rotational axis of symmetry, the rotational axis of symmetry with highest n-fold value, highest n-fold value or highest n value will become what? Principal rotational axis of symmetry. And the rest, here in this case C2. C2 will become what? Secondary rotational axis of symmetry. Right. We shall take the other examples. There are some molecules where the molecule has same symmetry element along three different axes. In that case, which will become the principal and which becomes the secondary is a question mark. In order to understand that, we shall take one more example where we will be clearly understanding if a molecule has the same symmetry element along three different axes, which has to be considered as a principal and which has to be considered as secondary. We shall look into that particular example. So we shall take the example of ethylene molecule. Ethylene molecule. Now the structure of ethylene molecule, generally it is a planar structure. It's a planar such that all the atoms are in one plane. In the board plane you can see is that they will be like this. Now if you rotate this molecule along this axis, I am rotating like this, right? Such that I will show only with the two ends, right? This end I am showing. If the axis is passing like the other side, you have your hydrogens. So I'll just show with these two hydrogens. Now this is the situation. The other side here is a carbon. The other side carbon and the two hydrogens are here. The axis is passing from the two carbon atoms. The axis is passing like this. On rotation, 180 degrees, right? Front to back. This I'll get as HA, HB, HC, HB. Now rotation of this molecule such that you can take this like this. The situation is like this. If I rotate to 180 degrees, the axis is passing from this particular axis and rotate it to 180 degrees. Now the hydrogens which are below the plane will go to the above the plane, and they which are present on the above the plane will go to the below the plane. So the hydrogen atoms which are above the plane, that is HA and HD, comes to below the plane. HB and HP which are in the below plane will go to the above plane. So this is one rotational axis of symmetry. Now here what I have done, I have rotated this molecule to 180 degrees. Therefore n is equal to again 360 by 180, that is equal to 2. So therefore we say that on rotation of this molecule 180 degrees giving you equivalent structure, it has C2 rotational axis of symmetry. This is one thing. Now coming to the next. That is, the axis is passing from this. Understand that this is the four corners. We have the four hydrogen atoms. Right. What I am doing is that I am rotating. The axis is passing from the center of this double bond. This is your double bond. The axis is passing from the center like this. Now rotation to 180 degrees. Right. You can see that the hydrogens which are on to the right side will go to the left, and the left will come to the right position. This is how it is happening. HD, HC, this becomes HA and this is HP. So here the rotation is done to 180 degrees, therefore it has C2 rotational axis of symmetry. This is repeated twice, you get the identical structure. The other axis, see the other axis is passing from the center of the double bond like this. In previous case the axis has passed from the top, that is the axis is passing from the double bond from the top to bottom. But here the axis is passing from the front of this double bond to from the back. The axis is passing from the center of. Now what you are doing, you are rotating this to 180 degrees like this. Rotation this to 180 degrees. It is giving you what? Equivalent structure. So therefore A, B, C, D. So on rotation, these two groups, HD comes here, HC will be here, HA will be going here, and HB will be coming here. So therefore 3 C2s. In the first case it is C2, in the second case also it is C2, and in the third case also it is C2. You just try to understand that in the first case, the axis is passing from this side. That is, the axis is passing from the two carbon atoms, and we are rotating this like this. such that the groups which are below the plane are going to the above the plane, and the groups which are present on the above plane will come to the below plane, which will give you equivalent structure. This is the first C2. The second C2 is passing from the top like this. We are rotating to 180 degrees, such that the hydrogens which are on the right side will go to the left, and the hydrogens which are on left will come to the right side like this. Coming to the third axis. The third axis is passing from the center of the earth from the front side. Now, when the axis is passing, you are rotating like this, such that these two hydrogens will be coming here and these two hydrogens will be going here. So, this is how the rotation is done to obtain the equivalent structure. Now, in this particular molecule, you can see that this is a C2, this is a C2, and this is a C2. Along X, Y, and Z axes, same symmetry element is present. Along these three axes, we have the same symmetry element. Now comes the question. Among these three, which will become principal and which becomes the secondary? Now, if a molecule has the same symmetry element along three different axes, then the symmetry that is passing through the more number of atoms, the axis which is touching maximum number of atoms in the molecule, that should be considered as the principal rotational axis of symmetry. Just I am repeating it once. The axis which is giving you rotational axis of symmetry, which is passing through the maximum number of atoms, it should be considered as the principal rotational axis of symmetry. If you take in the first case, here the axis is passing from the center of the two carbon atoms. That is, the axis is touching the first carbon and the second carbon atoms. But the other two axes what you have selected, they are neither touching any of the carbon atom. They are passing from the center of this double bond. Here also the axis is passing from the center of the double bond. Along this axis or along this axis, the axis is not touching any of the atom. Whereas if the axis is passing like this, right, along this axis, it is touching maximum number of carbon atoms. That is, it is touching maximum of 2 carbon atoms. Therefore, this should be considered as what? Principal rotational axis of symmetry, and these other two are considered as secondary rotational axis of symmetry. So this is what regarding the symmetry, rotational axis of symmetry is different types of symmetry is present in the same molecule. Right. So we have discussed regarding the symmetry of water molecule which has C2. We have discussed the symmetry of ammonia molecule, which is structure is pyramidal, has C3 rotational axis of symmetry. And we also discussed regarding structure of the BX3, which has trigonal planar, which has C3 rotational axis of symmetry. In addition to C3, it also has a C2. We have discussed the rotational axis of symmetry is present in the ethylene molecule. So here the point, very important point which you need to remember is that principal and secondary rotational axis of symmetry, which should be taken into the consideration, what should be taken into the consideration to say about the principal rotational axis and the secondary rotational axis of symmetries. See, just giving a revision, if a molecule has different types of rotational axis of symmetries, then the rotational axis which has highest n-fold value, highest n value, that is this value, highest n value should be considered as principal rotational axis of symmetry, and the rest of them are considered as secondary axis of symmetries. Whereas if the molecule has same symmetry elements along different axes, then in that case the axis which is passing through the maximum number of atoms, the axis which is touching maximum number of atoms, it should be taken as principal axis of symmetry. The rest should be taken as secondary axis of symmetries. The best example here is the ethylene molecule. In the ethylene molecule, along 3 different axes, the symmetry element present is C2. But these two axes, along these two axes, the axis is neither touching any of the atom. The number of atoms along this axis are 0 almost. But when the axis is passing along this axis, the axis is touching maximum of 2 carbon atoms. Therefore, this is considered as a principal, and the rest are considered as the secondary rotational axis of symmetries. So this is regarding the example of your ethylene molecule. Now let us take one more example for C4 rotational axis of symmetry. You can take the ML4 complexes. They are generally square planar, ML4 square planar complex. Now, the axis will be passing from the center of the metal atom. The axis will be passing from the center of the metal atom and on rotation to every 90 degrees. Every 90 degrees will give you equivalent structure. I label them as LA, B, C, D. Now the axis is passing from the center of the metal atom and I am rotating to 90 degrees each time, such that this is the situation. Each time I am rotating to 190 degrees, right? Now since in square planar all the sides are at the equal distance, right? So let us LA, B, C and D. Since it is rotated to 90 degrees, so the angle of rotation is 90, so it becomes 360 by 90, it is 4. So the value of n is equal to 4, therefore we say that it has C4 rotational axis of symmetry. This can be continued. This is C41. This is C42. This is C43. This is C44. See, each time I am rotating it to 90 degrees. Each time when I am rotating to 90 degrees, it is giving you equivalent structure. At the final, it is again giving you the identical structure. So on rotation of 360 gives you identical, as you already know. Now, for every 90 degrees giving you equivalent structure, the first case it is called C41, C42, C43, C44. We know that C44 is always equal to identity. So this is the C4 rotational axis of symmetry in case of the ML4 complex, that is square planar complexes. We are not talking about the ML4 complex which are tetrahedral. They comes under special point groups. We will be talking them at the end of the unit. That is, we will be talking about this in the special point groups. Now, one more thing regarding this. So here, this ML4 has C4 rotational axis of symmetry. In addition to C4, it also has the other rotational axis of symmetry, that is C2 rotational axis of symmetry. I'll just rewrite this structure. Square planar complex. It also has a C2 rotational axis of symmetry, and that axis is passing from the ligand, metal and ligand. So here the axis is passing from the ligand, metal, ligand and rotating to 180 degrees. Unless L, A. So LA comes here, LB. This is again repeated for the second time. Again 180 degrees. C2 will give you identity element. That is the axis is passing from L, M, L. So you see that there are two LML bonds. So therefore we say that there are two C2s which are passing along LML bond. That is oka axis annadi ligand metal ligand nunchi potundi avuna, it is passing from ligand metal ligand. So ala manaki LML bonds enni unnai, two types unnai. This is LML okati, alage LML ila oka axis untundi, the other axis will be along this, so that you rotate like this. So there are two LML bonds, therefore there will be two C2s passing along LML bond. In addition to this, apart from this, you also again have two C2s, right? I'll just show you, represent them separately. The other C2s are passing from the, this is the edge, right? This is the edge. These are the edges. The other C2 will be passing from the center of the edge, touching the metal, the center of the opposite edge, and rotation to C 180 degrees will give you C2. That is something like this. It's not exactly square planar, but you need to understand that in the center we have a metal. The four groups are at the four corners. These two C2s are passing from the ligand, metal ligand, and we are rotating to 180 degrees, right? Now the other two C2s, one C2 passing from the center of the edge, center of the metal, and the center of the opposite edge. This is the edge. This is the edge. From this center touching the metal and going to the opposite edge, and on rotation will give you equivalent structure. Similarly, the second C2, center of this edge, metal, and the center of the opposite edge. Rotation to 180 degrees will give you equivalent structure. So in case of your ML4 square planar complex, you have C4 rotational axis of symmetries, two C2s passing along ligand, metal ligand, that is passing through the opposite corners and from the center of the metal atoms. I will call them as the corners. Opposite corners and the center of the metal atom, one axis. Opposite corner, center of the metal atom, other axis. So the two C2s are passing from LML bond, that is opposite corners, and the two C2s are passing from the opposite edges. Opposite edges touching the center of the metal atom. So altogether there are four C2s. There are four C2s in case of the ML4 complex. I just missed regarding the BX3 molecule. That is, in case of BX3 molecule, I said that there is one C2 passing from the X and the boron. So along this axis you have C2. So like this BX bond, how many BX bonds are there? 3 BX bonds are there. Therefore, there will be 3 C2s. One C2 passing from this BX bond, the other C2 passing from this BX bond, the third C2 passing from the other this BX bond. Therefore, in BX3 molecule, you have C3 rotational axis of symmetry and 3 C2s. Each C2 is passing from the X and the boron bonds. So this is what regarding the rotational axis of symmetry of C2, C3, C4 molecules. Let us take two more examples in order to understand the rotational axis of symmetry. Cyclopentane. This particular molecule, all the sides will be equal, right? And rotation of this molecule to 72 degrees. 72 degrees, right? Will give you equivalent structure. Like this you get C51, C52, C53, C54 and C55. So you need to do it 5 times. So therefore this particular molecule, right? So therefore rotation of this molecule to 72 degrees, that is the angle of rotation is 72. So here n is equal to 360 by 72 will give you what? 5. So therefore it has C5 rotational axis of symmetry. C51, C52, C53, C54, C55. So it has to be done 5 times in order to obtain the identical structure. This molecule also has C2s again. Like it has a C5, it also has the C2 rotational axis of symmetry. And that C2 rotational axis of symmetries are actually passing from the center of the edge and the opposite corner. So in order to understand that, you need to know this. That is, these are called as the edges. They are called as the edges, and these points are called as the corners. So in case of cyclopentane, C2 symmetry elements are present and that are passing from the center of the opposite edge and the corner. Center of the edge and the opposite corner. Like this edge and this corner, this edge and this corner, this edge and the other corner, this edge and this corner, edge and the corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 C2 symmetries will be there in case of your cyclopentane. Actually, the structure is not even over here, but in reality, if you see, all the sides are the equal distance, right? Cyclopentane, all these edges will be at the same distance, so that the C2 will be passing from the center of edge and the corner. Therefore, you can see that there are 5 edges and the 5 corners. Therefore, you have the 5 C2s. So, in case of cyclopentane, you have C5 rotational axis of symmetry. In addition to that, you have 5 C2s. So, this is regarding the cyclopentane. And the last example we talk about the rotational axis of symmetry is the benzene. So, in case of benzene, on rotation, these two 60 degrees. On rotation to 60 degrees, will give you equivalent structure. A, B, C, D, E, F. See, the axis is passing from the center of the benzene like this, and you are rotating in the board plane itself. On rotation, you can see A, B, C, D, E, and the F. The first and the second structure are equivalent structure. This is obtained by rotation to 360 degrees. So therefore, the theta is equal to 60 degrees. N is equal to 360 by 60. It is coming to be 6. So therefore, it has a C6 rotational axis of symmetry, and it has a C61, C62, C63, C64, C65, and C66, which is equal to identity. So this is what regarding the C6 of the benzene. Now benzene also has C2 rotational axis of symmetries, and that C2s are passing from the opposite corners like this. Opposite corners. Now the axis is passing from this corner to this corner, such that the structure is like this. We are going to rotate the 180 degrees. If you rotate this 180 degrees, you get the equivalent structure. Therefore, it has 3 C2s. 3 C2s passing from the opposite corners, and it also has another 3 C2s. Here the 3 C2s are passing from the opposite edges like this. The other 3 C2s are passing from the opposite edges. If the axis is passing along this, you rotate 180 degrees, you get equivalent structure. So therefore, in case of benzene, you have C6 rotational axis of symmetry in addition to the 3 C2s passing from corners, opposite corners, and 3 C2s passing from opposite edges. So altogether, in case of benzene, you have C6 and 6 C2s. Among the 6 C2s, 3 C2s passing from corners, 3 C2s passing from the edges. So this is what regarding the rotational axis of symmetry. In your next lecture, we will be talking about the plane of symmetry. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.